The Ukrainian skies have become a battleground as Russia has intensified its air assaults, inflicting heavy casualties and destruction. The recent attacks on Lviv and Poltava highlight the increasing threat posed by Russia's air power, which has gained a significant advantage over the Ukrainian forces. Our next report gets you more details.
This week has proven deadly for Ukraine, with Russian forces escalating their campaign of destruction. Lviv is the latest Ukrainian city brutalized by Russian air power, following closely on the heels of Poltava, where over 50 lives were lost in one of the deadliest strikes since the invasion began in February 2022. These attacks are more than mere displays of force. They are targeted efforts to identify and exploit Ukraine's strategic vulnerabilities. The relentless barrage of missile and drone strikes marks a significant escalation in Russia's offensive, occurring after a brief lull in activity. Russia's renewed aggression is designed to demoralize Ukraine at a critical juncture, as Ukrainian forces struggle to hold the line against Russian advances in the Donbas region. The precision and persistence of these strikes, despite international sanctions and export controls, suggest that Russia's long-range strike capabilities remain formidable. Russia's dominance in the skies is becoming increasingly apparent, while Ukraine's air force, though small, has managed to pack a punch and inflict damage on Russian forces. It remains heavily outmatched. The much-anticipated arrival of F-16 fighter jets has yet to alter the battlefield dynamics. Meanwhile, Russia's advanced combat aircraft, including the Su-30, Su-34 and Su-35S, continue to unleash devastation on Ukrainian positions. The introduction of high-precision glide bombs by Russian jets has been a game-changer. These weapons, deployed with lethal efficiency, are breaching Ukraine's air defenses, which have so far kept Russian aircraft from entering Ukrainian airspace. The sheer volume of these bombs, reportedly dropped in the hundreds each day, underscores Russia's tactical ingenuity in circumventing Ukraine's defenses. In contrast, Ukraine has turned to drone warfare as a means of striking back, albeit with limited impact. Western hesitance to supply long-range weaponry has forced Ukraine to rely on drones for attacks on Russian infrastructure. While these strikes have caused disruptions, they pale in comparison to the damage inflicted by Russia's superior air power. The war, it seems, is poised to become even more brutal as Russia tightens its grip on the skies. Bureau Report, WION The World is One.
All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of what is happening at this moment in the Ukrainian war theatre, we're being joined by Dr. Nigel Gold-Davis, who's a former British ambassador to Belarus. Thank you very much indeed, Ambassador, for joining us here in WION. Now, let me in fact start off by asking you this. In the course of the last 72 hours, what we've witnessed is a sharp uptick in the number of aerial attacks that Russia has carried out in different parts of Ukraine. What do you think is the Russian strategy here?
Yes, this is not new, of course. Russia has been doing this since the beginning of the war, but it is a notable uptick. And I think particularly significant is that Russia is again targeting cities in the very far west of Ukraine, notably the historic city of Lviv, which has been relatively unaffected by the war. So it's once again an effort to demoralize or try to demoralize the Ukrainian population, to continue this sort of attritional, relentless sense that the pain that can exert on the Ukrainian population will not go away. And also, in some cases, specifically ahead of the winter season, to target Ukraine's energy infrastructure, which of course it will increasingly need. as the temperatures begin to fall.
And also in the aftermath of the Kursk incursion that Ukraine has resorted to, do you think there is an urgency on the part of the Russians to gain a more decisive advantage in the amount of land that they control?
Yes, I think that there are many battles taking place simultaneously in Ukraine, and now with the Kursk incursion in Russia as well. There's the air battle, if you like, not fought with planes, but with missiles and drones. There's a naval battle around Crimea as well, where Ukraine has actually done remarkably well, I would say, and is continuing to demonstrate its ingenuity. And then there's the battle on land. And the story there is that Russia has, in recent weeks, been making slow gains along parts of the long front in the Donbass. And one of the objectives, I think, of the Ukrainian incursion into Russian sovereign territory in Kursk was to try to get Russia to draw away some of its forces that are conducting that offensive. What we've seen, in fact, is Russia going to great lengths to avoid doing that. And Russia's response to Ukrainian incursion has been to pull in forces really from everywhere except its own offensive front in Ukraine. From Murmansk up north, even Wagner forces in Africa have been pulled back to try to defend Russian territory. So the Ukrainian hope that its own daring and surprising offensive might halt the pressure that it faces in its own territory, that has not yet been realized.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Ambassador, for joining us and getting us that perspective there. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.